Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories tonight. Acting president in a national broadcast promises citizens an improved economy and also a country that works. Nigerians mark Democracy Day across the country, albeit low-key. A look at 2 years of President Muhammadu Buhari, assessing performance in the areas of politics, security, anti-corruption, among others. Moroccan police arrested leading activist Nasser Zafi for organizing months of protests following demonstrations in the country's major cities. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our websites channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. We continue our assessment of the Buhari government's second year and its activities. Tonight our attention is on politics. For a government, the road on the change agenda, has it been able to display the political will to actualize some of the aspirations they sold to Nigerians at the campaigns? Our political correspondent, Shoa Kimbaloye, reviews the political atmosphere and its impact on this government in the last 2 years.
Change over progress. That was the choice of many Nigerians in 2015 when President Muhammadu Buhari and his party, the APC, was voted and removed Goodluck Jonathan and his party, the PDP, from office. A fourth time in 16 years that an incumbent will be defeated and displaced from the center. After trying 4 times, 72-year-old Muhammadu Buhari became the 4th president of Nigeria's 4th Republic, riding on the change mantra. The president, with the huge challenges on the table, when he assumed office, it took the president 6 months to set up a cabinet. Controversies were rife over the ethnic spread of his kitchen cabinet and key appointments of security operatives.
You know that all the security services of this country, none is headed by an Igbo man.
That on one hand, the relationship between the National Assembly has been a topsy-turvy when the election of the leadership of the National Assembly tore the ruling APC apart. An opposition deputy Senate president remains a great concern for many APC leaders. The president's political weight was expected to douse a near boiling point tension, but the president has shown how much of a politician he wanted to be, especially in some very dark cases. That may have had a huge consequence as budgetary process, appointments and confirmation of executive requests to the National Assembly largely hit a brick wall.
We have not confirmed Ibrahim Magu as the chairman.
Despite huge defections from the PDP to the APC in the National Assembly that amounted to little for the ruling APC. In almost 2 years, the party still struggles to hold a national convention. Even some vacant positions remain unfilled. There is an obvious crack in the inner workings of the presidency, with a sort of controversy over the suspended secretary to the government of the Federation, Mr. Babache Lawal, over allegations of corruption.
Why they ask him, who is the presidency?
When it comes to fighting corruption in the National Assembly and the judiciary, and in the larger Nigerian scene, the presidency uses insecticides, and when it comes to fighting corruption within the presidency, they use deodorant.
The president has since been out of the country. Is left for London again after a forced 50-day medical vacation in London. Up until now, no one has an idea of the sort of ailment the president is suffering from.
It's only the patient who can come out to say, this is what is wrong with me.
And it is known that some sections of the community are a bit restive as to what happens, particularly given the health of the president. And we know that even the military people are part of this society. But it must be stated clearly that we are running a constitutional democracy. And it should not be allowed for any group of people to think or even imagine that they can take power in a way that is against the constitution of this country.
The acting president has since taken charge, and his efforts in dousing militant activities in the Niger Delta has perhaps helped stabilize oil production in that region. The PDP blames the APC government for dragging the nation into recession and has described the efforts of the government as taking the nation backwards. But the PDP itself has spent the last 2 years in perpetual internal wranglings, rendering Nigeria's politics into an almost a one-party affair. Some have said opposition in Nigeria has simply gone to slumber. 2 years down and 2 more to go. 2019 is already on the lips of many politicians. INEC's credibility will surely be called out in how it comports itself for the huge election year. Shunwa Kimbaloye reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's take a further look into the areas of economy, social infrastructure, power and security. How did President Muhammadu Buhari fare in these areas? While many score him high in the area of anti-corruption and the fight against insurgency, the marks are not as favorable in power supply, economy and housing. Our next report brings you the scorecard of the president 2 years into office.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
In 2015, the president came in highly recommended, and this was demonstrated in the massive support he received from across the country. From the outset, his promises were very clear.
Our main problem is a vicious cycle of insecurity, lack of job, and corruption. The APC is determined to break this vicious cycle.
However, 2 years down the line, his administration is still struggling with tackling corruption.
With regards to corruption, it is a failure.
The fight has just started, and we'll do it to the last. We'll get them out.
In 2015, housing deficit in Nigeria, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, was 17 million. Today, nothing seems to have changed much. Relying on the same NBS figures, the rate of unemployment was 7.5%. By December 2016, it had risen to 13.9%. Within the same period, Nigeria's economy, as at 2015, was set to be the largest in Africa. By 2017, the people are singing the recession song.
We are not moving forward, but rather we find ourselves in a major recession because of lack of understanding of what I call economic policies.
This year was really about stabilizing the economy, and I'm very happy that we're beginning to see the signs of recovery. Now, as we move forward, we will begin to grow.
Power generation has not been different either. In January 2014, power generation was put at 4,000 megawatts. In March 2017, the figure dropped to 3,068 megawatts. Presently, it still hovers around 3,900, although the target set for 2019 is 10,000 megawatts. With security, the administration is believed to be doing well.
In all, I would say that they do not have currently the capacity to wage the kind of ferocious attacks that we used to witness in the past. So to that extent, I believe that the mandate has been largely achieved.
For many, the success of this administration has been largely hindered by the president's health challenge.
I know that if he were in good and better health state of condition, things will not be like this.
It's the halfway point for the Buhari administration. characterized by mixed blessings in the various key sectors. And even though it may not exactly be an excellent scorecard, there are still 2 more years to go for the administration to prove to Nigerians that it has what it takes to rescue the nation from its challenges. The people are watching.
Joining me now on the news at 10 to assess the administration these 2 years is human rights lawyer, democracy expert and director, Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, Clement Nwankwo. He joins us from our studio in Abuja. Clement, I'm glad you could join us on the news at 10. This is an administration that inherited a lot of problems from the previous administration. We heard the president there during his campaign saying that there were 3 major areas: insecurity, lack of jobs and corruption. 2 years on, is that still an argument for where we are right now?
2 years on, I think Nigerians are still searching for the solution that this administration promised. I think that the expectations were very high, given the failures of the administration before it and given the citizens' disenchantment with the past administration and the corruption levels that were exceedingly high and embarrassing. I think that the promises that this government made during elections and soon after elections were what Nigerians were really looking forward to. We looked forward to a meaningful fight against corruption with due process in place and institutionalizing the process of checking corruption. We're still searching for that to be in place. Nigerians had expected, looking at the promises made by the APC government about the creation of 720,000 jobs a year. We are not seeing that. Indeed, we are seeing even more jobs that are lost. The president had made the point about health care being an important drive for the administration and seeking to ensure that Nigerians going abroad for medical treatment, this is reduced. Of course, we see the president himself abroad himself looking for medical treatment. Generally, the sense is that this administration has not met the expectations of Nigerians. Indeed, Nigerians are very disappointed with the performance of this government, given that if you look at all of the parameters of its promises to Nigerians on what it intends to deliver, this didn't happen. And from your report, which Sheun Okimbaloye put out, you saw an administration that started out unable to do anything for more than 6 months. You saw an administration, or we've seen an administration that has not been able to give a sense of direction with the economy. As we speak, the GDP is still in the negative and we're not out of recession. The promise of a growth in the economy is really, really very sad. And when we look at the human rights situation in the country today, we see that the human rights situation has continued to deteriorate with increasing levels of violation of human rights of not just political opponents, but the ordinary citizens on the streets. We see that really in rapid deterioration. When we also look at the relationship between the National Assembly and the executive, we do not see a collaboration amongst the 3 arms of government. We even saw the executive breaking the houses and doors of judges and basically throwing into confusion and ruins the whole issue of respect for the independence of the judiciary. So we are worried about where we are in the country today. I think this government has not lived up to expectations, and Nigerians are really sad about it.
Clement, I'd like to talk to you more about this. We'll just take a quick break and we'll come back. We'll continue this conversation. When the news at 10 returns, our conversation continues with Clement Nwankwo, a human rights lawyer, democracy expert, and Director Policy and Legal Advocacy Center. When we come back after the break, we'll also be taking you to Abuja for the federal government's plan on housing, plus the launch of Muka Phone Service Center. Please join us again.